appreciate Tony for setting this up. And if I'm a little nervous, it's been 6 years since I've done this, so pre-COVID. So excuse my nervousness if you see anything. So last year, or 2 years ago, I moved here, and my journey has been about 20 years in agency business. I've worked for Qualcomm.
Yeah, just a little bit
like this?
Yeah.
Okay. I worked for a lot of large companies in the States, Qualcomm, Yahoo, Department of Defense, Double Naval Medical Center, LPL Financial, just some of these larger companies. And so over 20 years, we probably built a large pipeline of revenue, probably 8 figures aggregate revenue for my company. And so I'm just teaching you a couple of things that I've learned through cold outreach, cold email, and cold aspects of things. In this specific talk, we're going to talk about cold email and what I did and learned over the last 15 months. About 2 years ago, I came to Split. I was in typical type of thing after COVID, traveled, and I was in burnout mode. So I came to Europe and I landed up in Split. I had a great time, and then I decided to move here. And I met fantastic people like Tony and all some of my colleagues and friends here. So, and then last year I started to learn about cold email, tried to do a few things, and this is my journey over the last 15 months, what I've learned. So, first things first is that if you don't mind, if you could take a phone and just run the survey. Okay, I'm gonna move on. So, why am I doing outbound? The main reason why I'm doing outbound is just like, it's another marketing channel. And there's inbound and outbound. Inbound is social media, SEO. Outbound is cold call, cold email, all the cold channels. And it's just another channel for getting leads. And lead is anyone you can contact for potential service or product that you sell. That's pretty much it. You know, so if you understand that aspect, it's just one channel for outbound, and one of the channels is cold email. And 18 out of 20 marketing agencies suck. Why do I know that? Because I ran a marketing agency. And why did I run a marketing agency? Is because I got a lot of them overpromise and underdeliver. And I would say 18 out of 20 of them do that. In 2016, we started the marketing portion of my company, which was primarily SEO. And we spent maybe 20 or 30,000 on a company that we hired and produced 0 results. And then we internally took that in after we found 0 results with that large agency that we hired for 3-4 months. Same thing happened to me when we were doing cold outbound for I hired another agency. I hired 4 agencies actually for cold outbound, and they also didn't produce the results that we were looking for. So and then we started last year, and I said, let's take it internal and do it ourselves.
Sorry, this sounds a bit strange. Would you please just try to adjust it slightly closer to your face?
Closer? Is that better? Yeah. Okay. That's loud. Okay. And so if you guys heard that basically I got taken for a couple of rides on marketing, and that's why I'm doing it internally, and that's why I did it 15 months ago. All right. So cold email, what is the expectation? And that's really the key here, is your expectation with cold email as a channel. The expectation sometimes is, if you have a referral, is that they're going to be your customer. Cold email, you have to build the trust. So if you haven't built trust yet, the way you build trust is going to be basically getting an appointment. And if you get an appointment, you have to get an offer. And it has to be an irresistible offer that will build that trust. So before you go do all of that, the expectation for this channel should be just to get a reply and a meeting booked. If your expectation is anything outside of cold email about getting a meeting booked with a potential prospect, then forget it. So expectations have to be in line with reality. You can't just, especially in 2025, you can't expect a sale right away or a close right away. For example, let's move forward, send me a proposal, that's never gonna happen. Maybe 5 years ago that might have happened, but after COVID, it's just exploded and it's an unrealistic expectation. So in regards to responses when they reply back to you, what's gonna cause the responses? So call to action is gonna be a big factor. And what is that? Is that their effort, value, is basically, are you gonna provide enough effort and are you gonna provide enough value for the effort that they take for booking the meeting? Because time is the most important asset. And if they're gonna spend their time on a call with you, better provide some good value. So effort, so call to action, plus relevance, which is their priorities, their problems, and the value you provide, plus the meeting. Plus you gotta follow up with the phone, email, social, and possibly dropping. So it's not just email. Let's say they say, yes, we want to book a meeting, they don't show up, we have to call them. So there's a lot of more work that needs to be put in place with this channel than just pure, like an inbound channel like SEO or. Is this better, guys?
Okay. Yes. Well spread out.
That's not one of the reading.
I can't tell if it was my voice or what that was, but basically, the responses here are going to require a lot more effort, and for you guys, because of the value. Because you haven't built the trust, and that's really key. And the expectation is that you want to get a meeting booked, and anything outside of that, forget it. It's not going to happen if your expectations are let's close the deal. It's never going to happen in the cold email in 2025. Any questions on that?
So can you define a little bit more precise on meeting booked? Is this really a sales outbound call, or is this a cold lead elimination outbound call?
Can you repeat that question?
So an easy example. So you have a target group of, let's say, 1,000 calls.
Prospects?
You have a target group of 1,000 calls, and giving that to the sales rep would be very, very cost intensive. So what we have done was that we called all the 1,000 just to identify the cold ones, to eliminate them from the sales rep. And the sales rep did then a second phase call with the one that are potentially interested.
And your question?
Is a meeting booked? Is the expectation that the initial outbound call already books the meeting, or is it to eliminate the cold leads?
So that has to do, so the question is, what's the purpose of this? Is it basically to qualify the lead?
Oh, yeah.
The first call is to qualify the lead, or is it to actually get an actual qualified lead into the sales pipeline?
Yeah.
And the answer is the first. It's to get a meeting booked, and then you do your pre-qualification questionnaire. What's their time line to execute the project? First of all, whether they're a fit based on your questionnaire, what's their timeline, and what's their budget. That's it. And if it's less than 30, throw them in your drip campaign. And if their budget is not in line with what you want, let's say your minimum average order value is 5,000, then maybe it's not a good channel. Does that answer the question? So that's a great question in regards to that, is that this is a channel for B2B outreach primarily. It's not a B2C outreach, meaning like a restaurant, because their average ticket is $10 or $15 or 15 euros, excuse me, 15 euros or 10 euros. It's going to be a higher ticket. When I say higher ticket, higher price. When I say a higher price, at the minimum, it should be around 5,000 euros as a ticket price, 3,000 euros as a ticket price. So you should know already your average order value If you're a pre-revenue company, then it's gonna be really hard. This is gonna be a tough channel if you burn your TAM, your total addressable market. So you just have to be careful. Pre-revenue companies, I don't really know if this is a perfect channel. For them, it might be better to cold call if you burn your TAM. Because then you can keep on going through different channels, et cetera. But to summarize this is that as a company, you should know what your average order value is. It should be around minimum, let's say 4,000 or 5,000 euros, because if that's not the case, this is going to be an expensive channel for you to get a customer, because the initial customer that comes in, you're going to probably lose money just to get the building of the trust, and the upsell value from that initial order will be your profit. So typically, because it's cold outreach. So that's why the offer has to be irresistible, and which I'll speak to the next aspect. Does anyone have questions about that?
Do you think the average order value for the first transaction or the lifetime value of the total cooperation with the client?
The question is it the offer has to be, say that again?
You said that the average order value should be roughly $3,000 to $5,000 or euros
Minimum.
Minimum. Are you talking about the first transaction or the overall lifetime value of the client? Because if it's a monthly service and it can be, let's say, $1,000 per month, then in 3 months it's 3,000. So yeah.
Lifetime value.
Lifetime value. Okay.
Lifetime value. Lifetime value means that, if you guys aren't familiar with that term, means that you might get an order for $100 from one customer, 100 euros for one customer, but over the lifetime of having that customer, it might equate to 5,000 euros over, let's say, 3-year period or 2-year period.
I have a question. Can you explain a little bit more burning your total addressable
Burning your,
market
yes.
using calls instead of email? Like if we have like a very restricted or very limited amount of leads, how would you approach it? What would be the explanation behind that?
Can you restate your question more clearly?
So you mentioned before when that talked about the 1,000 leads. So you don't want to burn your total addressable market. You should use sales. So what would be the approach? Why were you mentioning?
I don't know. I don't know if you have 1,000 potential leads as your total addressable market, meaning all your customers. Hopefully those customers are enterprise customers and not just, et cetera. I would get to, you're asking me what the strategy would be to not burn the TAM?
How do you burn the market? Like does that happen?
So if you don't have a product market fit, so that means you're reaching out to them without knowing what your offer is. You don't have product market fit, you don't understand what their pain problems are. Real pain problems like burning the house problems, and your product or service doesn't address that issue. So you're going to be reaching out to them, 1,000 people, and they're going to ignore you, and that's the total value of your entire product that you're selling. So you don't want to burn your total amount of customers that would be your ideal customer profile. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense? What I would do in that case would be to get 1 or 2 guinea pig customers, make sure that they work with you, and that might be a place where you just don't make any money, but you can address their problems and solve their problems. Get like a case study that says, hey, we saved them XYZ dollars for using our product, and then use that aspect to go out and reach out to the other 998 other folks. But those 2 or 3 case studies, they really need to help you as a partnership basis, and you really need to solve their pain points, very specifically, and then you can go out and reach out to them. Usually most customers want to save money or get more business. Those are kind of like the main 2 issues, or their operations aren't working well. So this was an outreach that I ran before, just because I was screwing around with things, and one of our ICPs was a home services ICP meaning the ideal customer profile, was home services, people that fix stuff inside homes. And I was just screwing around with this, and I just said, hey, this is great. I'll just make a funny email, send it to someone and a company, and see what they say. So again, this was a great email because it got a lot of responses. The bad thing was that there was no offer. So this is what I learned, is that even if you can make people laugh, it doesn't mean they're going to do business with you or get on the phone, because you don't really have an offer for the customer. So again, this goes back into pillar one. Again, this is the Godfather. I'm going to make an offer it can't refuse. So this comes back from the Hormozy kind of book of business, in terms of you have to make an offer that is so stupid that it make a customer feel dumb that they haven't gone with you. For example, if you're doing a simple offer would be, I'm going to offer you oil changes for the rest of the year for free if you become a customer of ours. Here's a coupon code. So, you know, from a B2C perspective, so go in with your car to anyone, you would be able to get a free oil change for the rest of the year. The whole point of this is to upsell the customer, obtain them at a cost, at least at your cost, and or maybe a little bit of loss, and then have them a lifetime value customer forever. So it's all about customer acquisition, not on the initial deal, but on the lifetime of the customer. 2025, the reality check. We sent 2018, I think it was 100 emails. We got a 15% reply rate. Our customer relationship management system was overwhelmed. I couldn't get back to everyone because everyone wanted to schedule a call. We got 2 customers out of that, and pretty profitable. In 2025, so if you send 100 emails, you're not going to get anyone. And the problem is that the AI is also a huge issue, is that it's creating a lot of noise. It's like social media, and people don't know what's real, what's not. And there's also COVID with the marketing agencies overwhelming everyone with a lot of garbage on email as well. So you really need to stand out in this competitive environment. And again, I'm coming from the standpoint of the US environment. I'm not sure in Croatia or in the Balkans if this is happening as well. This is the Hormozy playbook. Dream outcome, what they dream times the perceived likelihood of that, divided by time, delay, effort, and sacrifice equals the value. So that's kind of the engineering formula that goes in cold email, I think, really well, or in any channel really well, Facebook ads, anything else. 50% discounts, etc. Your offer must be so good that the prospects feel stupid saying no. So does anyone have a question about this? Like why I'm spending so much time on the offer and not anything else? Not the technicals or anything like that?
Just a question, how do you put quantitative values to the equation? Maybe you're thinking about like, okay, should I use this or that as my channel or as my, maybe like, how do you actually make a comparison of this?
You test. You test.
A/B testing, try this, see what brings it for you.
You test your offers, you test everything. Because I think Hormozy said marketing is a 9-letter word for test. That's all it is. So there's no magic to it. It's just constantly failing forward. Yeah. It's creating your stupid to say no offer. Interview your best customers. I hope you have a few. What are your top 2, 3 priorities right now? That's a really important question because they don't answer this. What's getting in the way of achieving this? How are you thinking of solving before hiring this? The number 1 question is the most important, and the problem is that a lot of customers don't answer that direct question, even if they're your customers, because you have to ask deeper questions, because they'll tell you, look here, and they won't tell you this is my problem. So you have to kind of redirect that, and really important that these questions are answered by the founders on the call with the customer or the sales reps. Do not get the product folks involved. Do not get any marketing folks involved. It's got to be people that are in sales or founders asking these questions because they understand the position of the customer and being in their shoes. Because the number one question is always hard, because you have to ask the right questions, because they always give the wrong answer to the customer. Research their world. This is a simple one. Analyze conferences that the customers are attending and what the topics are dominating at that conference, because why are they attending the conference? Because they're hitting up some pain points, and those topics would be hopefully in those pain points. Obviously studying the customer messaging, what problems are they highlighting? Review the earnings calls, what the executives are up to and where the industry is kind of going in regards to that. Large companies are always ahead, the earning calls always kind of speaks to what the problems are they're facing, the large companies are facing, and usually the stock market is ahead of the entire economy. Does anyone have questions about the Irresistible Offer Foundation? How you find your offer? Okay, simple. This was the example I gave before, is that we give you free oil changes for the rest of the year if you come before month end with your coupon code. So if you have like a oil change business or a service business, this is a way to acquire customers very cheaply, but you have to know that this is not the end game. You have to upsell the heck out of these customers when they get on, when they're coming in the door. So your first deal isn't about profit, it's about getting in the door for upsells and building trust. So that's very key, because you can get a lot of customers that way, but you have to know your upsells really well. And that's where the pre-qualification comes in regards to that. Even if they're your customer, you might lose them on the first deal, but you have to know your AOV and what they really want. The outreach new math. So this is pillar number 2. This is really important. No one cares about you. If you're a dev company, if you're a marketing agency, or any type of agency, no one cares about you. They only care about their problems. If you're not doing multi-channel outreach, you're invisible. Meaning, customer responds back to you in an email saying, yeah, let's get on a call. First thing you should do is give them a call. In the US, there's a voicemail system. You usually leave a voicemail, and then point them to the email, typically. So because there's so much noise in 2025, and I can say probably in the social channel as well, that it's creating too much noise in customers' brains as well. So you're not able to reach them right away. You have to create 5, 6 emails, 6 phone calls, 3 social touches, a 15 touch point minimum these days, because people are just overwhelmed, bombarded. I'm sure you guys are all bombarded with all sorts of trash online. So you have to create more touch points, and bottom line, it's more work. So you have to have a really good sales discipline, strategic process that it goes through a systematized approach of following up with customers. Just because they said yes in the first reply, they might not show up to an appointment booked. And you have to have systems in place to do that. You have to call them, that's really important, and leave a voicemail and then redirect them to an email. So that's really important. And that 15 touch framework might take 3 weeks to do that from start to finish. Channel integration. So this is how you would do that. It's an example. Email subject line, again, very short, left you a VM, voicemail. Hey, Sarah, just left you a quick voicemail about blah, 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 about whatever marketing challenge you have, or whatever operation challenge you have. And then this is the voicemail script. Hi, Sarah, it's Dhruv from iUniversal calling you about whatever industry, let's say whatever industry that they're in. We just helped, the plumbing company in Georgia get $4 million in pipeline revenue. Sending in a quick email with details. Subject line is left to a voicemail. So basically, you email them, and then you continue that with a voicemail. And that's kind of, you know, you thread in that kind of systematized process from one to the other. They're not working separately, they're working in conjunction together. And this is someone called Jason, the Bay reply method. Lead with the outcomes. Again, they don't care about you, they care about what they want, not the features that you have, not what you can do, not the technical features. Show their problems, personalize, again, where they're located, what their problem might be, what their social media is saying that they're hiring for. Laser focus, this is really important, keep it short. And mobile optimized. Make it about them, 2-to-1 ratio of them to you as a customer, you as the vendor, excuse me. Super simple, quick question. That's very common. Shorter subject lines, less than 5 words. Saw you're hiring 5 sales development representatives. Guessing productivity is a priority. Most VPs tell it takes 6 months to ramp, blah, 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 cut time to 8 weeks, happy to share how. So bottom line, what I'm showing you is that keep it simple. People don't have attention span. And if you don't get to them in the first 2 seconds, just like any ad, you know, Facebook ad or Google ad, you're gonna lose them. So imagine this as the same type of philosophy psychologically. This one's gonna be hard to go through, so I'm not gonna go through the follow-up sequence, but if you guys want it, I will happily share it with you guys. Okay, so pillar 4, messaging that converts. Again, I keep saying this, do not focus on what you do, focus on their problems. Every cold email I get is focused on what they do. They don't care. The customer does not care about you. They don't know who you are. And this goes with any channel, not just cold email. Focus on their problems. This is an example. Most sales teams wait 3 hours a day, which equal on manual tasks. So that's cost savings. Again, they don't have enough business or operations are running poorly. So one of the 2 things they want to, typically most companies want to focus on. Problem-focused messaging framework. This is an example. Top 3 customer problems. Again, lack of quality leads. That's always been the case. I think you guys touched up on that, is that you're qualifying what leads are good. No transparency on the revenue, meaning when they capture a lead, convert them to a customer, they don't know what the actual revenue might be if they don't have systems in place. And a third thing could be it can't identify why the top reps, why their sales reps are succeeding while the other ones are failing. What are the top reps doing well? So metrics on that. So these could be top customer problems because they want more quality reps. They want transparency on profit, and they want quality leads, most customers. And below that is an email first rule of, because most people are checking their email on their mobile. Keep it short. Boring is better. Skip the greeting, just go right to the value. And body is under 75 words, paragraphs, 1 to 2 sentences max, and call to action. Call to action, don't tell them to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things, just do something very specific. Here's a case study, here's a meeting, are you open to chat? And only 1 call to action per email. People are not focused these days. Any questions?
So I wanted to ask you, so the body under 75 words total.
Maybe even under 50.
Yeah, so my experience is that the longer the message is, the better they reply because I took my time to research, tell something super personalized, I researched something about them that's relevant. You know, like, it's kind of hard to ignore the fact that somebody took so much time. So I guess my question is, does this 75 or 50 word total count depend on the volume that you're sending? Because obviously it's not scalable if you take 30 minutes to research everybody. And what's the number of the messages that you sent if it's these short messages?
I would say a couple thousand a day. Yeah, so if you're doing personalized for like 100 people, then it's different because you're actually researching them manually. This is at scale. So, go ahead.
Yeah. Do the mails end up in the spam folder the emails that you are sending? Do they end up in the receiver's spam folder?
I will get you, I'll hold that question till the end and I'll get an answer for you for that. Any other questions? On email specifically? No? Okay, so tech stack, and this goes to you. So the tech stack, this is all you engineering folks. This is kind of like the stuff I least focus on, but is important. Leadless, Apollo, that's the one that we use. They've been banned about 2-3 months ago with with LinkedIn, because they were just scraping out all of LinkedIn. So right now, I'm not so sure about their data, how fresh it is. It's been about a couple of months. Sales Navigator is a LinkedIn product that they want you to use, and that gets all the information. So this is where you get the lead list. Most companies use LinkedIn as the leads area because there's not many other places that leads exist besides LinkedIn for most companies. So every company, whatever they sell, they use ZoomInfo, Apollo, they all point to typically LinkedIn and Sales Navigator is their product. Enrichment, this is a personalization at scale. Use Clay, best tool out there for enrichment. Outreach, we use Instantly. There's also Smart Lead. I don't know about Reply.io. AI Assistant, that's for copy. Claude is the best for copy. And scheduling, you guys know Calendly. With respect to that. Now, there's a couple of components. You said, how do you not end up in spam? So you will have to purchase two things, domains. You don't use your main domain as cold outreach. You'll use, a bunch of variations. So you say you purchase 50 domains. And then you have to purchase Google Workspaces. Typically Google Workspace, because Google, and this is all technical stuff, but it's important, is that all these ESPs, email service providers, have become very stringent with their AI and algorithms to check spam. So you can say purchase 50, let's say 10 domains, and you can set up 2 workspaces per domain, maybe 3. So 30 email addresses total, and each email address can send about 15 emails a day. And you plug that into Instantly, so they rotate. So that's the technical setup. So if you have 10 domains times 20, that's 20 times 15 is that's the maximum you can do per day. 15 emails to maybe 20 emails a day. So that's how you avoid spam. The other aspect of avoiding spam is that your lead lists have to be scrubbed with a tool called ClearOut or Zero Bounce, because the leads that are provided by Apollo or LinkedIn, the email addresses, they might have changed jobs, they might not work anymore, so you have to scrub them first, go through the filter, then you'll have the final list of the valid email addresses, and then you plug them into a tool called Instantly, and then they will run, and then your copy has to be very specific in terms of you can't have spammy sentences in your copy. So there's hard bounces, which is what I spoke about, valid email addresses, and then there's soft bounces, which is also something that Instantly and these other tools stop because Google or Microsoft 365 might consider you spam, so they stop right away. So you have to be very careful on that aspect, depending on the copy of your email. And then you have to spin text your email. It's a little technical stuff. I hope that answers it. I didn't want to go into the technical conversation because it's not as relevant, but the more important aspect is the offer, because that creates meetings. But this is all relevant because otherwise you'll go into spam as well. and you have to do warm-ups. So Instantly and SmartLead have a tool that warms up your email. So if you go into spam, they're sending emails behind the scenes to each other in a kind of a ecosystem, and it warms up your emails. It takes it out of spam for 30 days. So, any questions? Any other technical questions? Because it's a little technical, obviously. Okay. All right. So again, no one cares about you or your service. They care about their pain points. This is the most important aspect of that. And this pain points is going to speak to the great offer, which is going to yield high response rates. Multi-channel means more touch, which equals more touch points, which equals more trust. Obviously, if they see your ad in multiple times, they're going to call you because they've seen you multiple times in any kind of ad campaign. If you guys are running, any of you guys are marketing ad experts. Persistent follow-up, that's for sales. 80% of your conversions come from 5, 6, 7, 8 touch points. Unless they say no, for me, no is a not now. So I'll hit them up in 2 months. I'll never consider no a no. And that's really important as well. Until I hear a no, if someone doesn't email me back, all that means is they haven't seen my emails. So until I hear a no, which then goes into not now, or I just keep on emailing them after a certain cadence. Problem-focused messaging, relevant conversations. Bottom line is you need to understand their pain points for the problem-focused messaging to get the relevant conversations, to get the replies back. And the bottom line is average outreach is completely indivisible. You have to use these 4 pillars to break through those. So that is essentially the aspect of cold email. And it is a great channel. You can build a seven-figure pipeline with cold email, depending on your average order value. But you have to be very persistent, and you have to have a great offer with respect to that. So, does anyone have any questions? Tony? No.
Not yet.
Not yet. And for example, like an offer would be a great offer. Let's focus on an offer. Great offer, let's say for a kilo, might be, hey, look, we'll give you free development services for a year on the first project after the project has gone live, right? So the aspect is that specific project that they're working on with that specific agency, they will give till the end of the year. The second project they come will be where they'll make the profit, because the first project is all about gaining trust, seeing how each other work, and see if they like each other. And then they get the value, the client gets the value that they get free development services for the entire year till the end of the year.
We go for
Either you spend money on ads, I mean, it's not a referral channel. Referral channel is completely different, you know, so, and there might be silent costs that you're not considering for different channels. So every channel has a cost and value to it.
So Dhruv, I have a question for you. You didn't mention anything about guarantees,
That's part of the offer.
right? So I think guarantees are something which is kind of important, right? Because on our research, we also saw a lot of people don't trust marketing, right? As a way to get new clients, right? So guarantees are something which is kind of really, really important, because there is a lack of trust in marketing and sales overall, right? So I think that should be addressed as well.
Yeah,
And
so,
what's your opinion about it?
so Mario said I did not mention guarantees. Guarantees of de-risking the offer, meaning that the customer might pay, let's say, $5,000, and if they don't get the value that they say, there's a guarantee that they get the money back. Typically, those guarantees are set up in the marketing space, and that's specific to the specific offer. So not all offers have guarantees. Some offers might be free, etc. Just because we run a marketing company, we will put that guarantee in there because it's related to direct revenue. If we don't get you 90 leads within 90, well, if we don't get you 30 leads, qualified leads within 90 days, we will work for you for free and refund you the initial setup fee, something like that. So it depends on what the company does with respect to that. The two things that both of them have said, guarantees and brand value. And brand value equals trust. So it's, like I work for Hadoop or something like that, people are gonna think, oh, okay, you have that as a customer, I'm gonna trust you more. But that only gets you so far in anything. It gets you further, yes, because you have Hadoop as your customer. That's for example. So it's the brand as well as a guarantee, and combining those two would be a powerful offer.
Well, Tony touched upon it at the very beginning. Everybody receives email from Nigeria. That's cold email and trust right there.
But how many follow-ups do you get?
Oh, they're still there.
Any specific questions about that?
Nope.
Anyone else? But this is a really important point that you brought up, is that well, in my experience, most of the marketing agencies stink, right? Because it's easy to just start up a dev agency, marketing agency. There's no hard costs. It's not a manufacturing company, a software company. There's no hard costs. So it's very easy to just be the next person in from your mother's basement or whatever it is. So that's why they're not able to have the experience of what matters. And what I mean by experience is they don't understand the customer, they don't understand the finances, they don't understand the operations, the business side, not the technical marketing side of things, right? Because you might get 100K of revenue, but they might be losing 120,000 of operational cost to capture the $100,000 of revenue. So the entire life cycle.
You've been in the agency business, in the marketing space for 20 years, so you had your share of companies and
Had a lot of failures.
what would be your take on, for startups or for businesses that are looking to scale, how would they implement cold outreach? What would be like, let's say, like a marketing stack that they could use, how to fit in cold outreach in their business?
Excellent point. People of power, executives. So a lot of these larger companies are using a lot of reps to do that. But if you can do executive to executive outreach, hey, I'm the CEO of this with the CEO of that. People love power, loves talking to power. So if you're small and you're agile, you have a lot more, flexibility than the big dinosaur monster, right? And smaller companies move very agilely, and you can use your title to speak to the right person in the larger company because they don't want to talk to the sales rep. They want to talk to someone, a decision maker, in regards to their offer. Right? Is that relevant?
Yeah, but I was more thinking about, I've got an MVP, I started growing, I got 1, 2, 3 clients. How do I scale? How do I put in the cold outreach? Is it more cost effective than using paid ads, or I don't know, something else?
You have to
How
test.
would you structure it? Yeah.
You would have to test. I don't know.
Depends on the niche, yeah?
Depends on the niche, depends on the offer, and depends on how big a problem you're solving with your MVP.
And what do you do? Give me an example. What is your MVP?
No, this is just a broad question. General.
If you can solve a bigger problem for a client, not only the marketing, not only the sales, but the operations side, and you have a full service side of things, it's gonna hit on their larger pain point as a business, in regards to that as well. And cold outreach also works if you want to get a job. Like, hey, look, I see you're hiring for this. I've done this for this company. I can save you 15 hours a week. Happy to jump on a call and do a quick demo of what I can do for you guys, you know, in regards to that as well. So if you have, you know, if you're looking for a job, that's also very powerful as well. What are the questions you guys have? Has this been informative or educational, or it's been, can I get some feedback? Nothing? Quiet? Yes, sir.
I have a question. So in the slide that you were mentioning, the call to actions, which one performed, like are you open to learning more, and is it worth a quick chat, and so on. So I've been studying a couple of outreach experts, and a lot of them say, even though it's a free call, it's still a big commitment. You know, people don't have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, because they don't know you, they don't care about you, and so on. So a couple of them said, instead of offering a free consultation call, which says, are you open for a quick chat? You should say that you have a free resource, like a training, like a case study, like a demo, whatever. And then you're asking them, do you want me to share this material or resource with you? And if they reply with yes, then you share with them. So I was curious about your opinion about that.
Yeah, so a single call to action should be that, a case study or something like that initially, and then you can do a follow-up maybe in your third sequence in the same email to say, free to chat about this. But the initial could be a case study, like you said. It seems like you're doing very specific to a very specific TAM about a very specific service. So you can do your manual research, and that's way more effective than the spray and pray or generalized person, you know, that kind of, like larger TAM.
So you would say that in that case, in the first email, you offer the resource, and if they reply, you send it back, and then the other call to action in your second email is, if this something is interesting to you,
Yeah.
book a call and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
100%. 100%. Any other questions, guys? We got a few more minutes left, and I think everyone's on their phone right now. Sending emails. They're all sending emails from their phone. I don't do it for other companies, just FYI. Now, I do have just a quick thing on me is that I do have a product called Lead Identifier. If you are doing any e-commerce or selling directly to consumers, I can do that for you guys, but I don't do it B2B outreach. I do have other companies that I can refer to if you guys are interested in B2B outreach like this. Any other questions? No? Okay. Very good. All right, so thank you so much. I appreciate your time to come here on a Wednesday night. And Tony, do you have anything else to add?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So thank you so much for coming in. And if there's any questions, please reach out to Tony or myself. And I'll be happy to share every resource I have so you guys can be successful in doing this and you don't have to spend 15 months like I did.